We are joined here by Chris Rippy, executive producer on Orcs Must Die, just announced, and we want to find out more about it. Right now, there's the trailer up on the website, and always questions. A lot of people can see that there's sort of a almost torchlight feel to the game. What were some of the visions and goals for Orcs Must Die?
Sure. So I would say we've been kind of messing around with a lot of different ideas here at Robot for a while. Some of us have been playing a bunch of different game types like horde gameplay. Some of the smaller downloadable games have been an inspiration, looking at tower defense games. So we've been looking at all these different types of games, and we wanted to see what it felt like to take those ideas and kind of mash them together. So we did a couple of prototypes, and we were pretty thrilled with the way the prototypes worked out, the way the player can run around the world, interact with the enemies, but the way the enemies are also interacting with the traps, and you're able to kill all these orcs, and it's fun. We took that prototype and thought, this is something that has a lot of momentum, and we grabbed the rest of the crew and started going into production.
Now, it was mentioned earlier in the tour that this was done by a small group, and over 6 months. What's sort of the development, for a new game? Is it something that comes from top down, or does it come from within the team?
Yeah, we're really lucky at the studio. Our studio is set up to where actually all the enthusiasm and the ideas bubble up from the team. There's not one person saying, hey, we should be doing this type of game, we should be doing this type of game. We're given the opportunity, literally everybody in the company, to submit different game ideas. And this is one that got a crew excited, and we went from there. So.
Now, I got to play a couple levels. I had a lot of fun, and this was on the PC. You have talked about multi-platforms, and all we've seen is single player. For the PC, will it come out as single player, and along with that, will the PC launch at the same time as maybe other platforms as well, or will there be a different time?
As far as the different platforms, we're working through all that stuff right now. Our primary goal is to get a good, solid game together. Then we'll branch that out to other platforms. Whether they come out at the same time, it just kind of depends on how things are feeling. I'd like that to happen. So as far as single player and multiplayer, the philosophy of making this game is to really only include things that we can spend the right amount of time on to get it right. So we kind of take away everything that's a distraction from the game. So I think you see that when you play through the game, you look at the traps. There's a lot of detail in the traps. All the enemies react in cool ways to the traps. There's depth to it. There's depth to the entire game. But we leave out things, that we can't spend the right amount of time on and get polished exactly right. Multiplayer is an awesome idea. I think that's something that we think about quite a bit for this game. But for this game, we want to concentrate on just making the best single player experience that we can.
Now, is there an announced year that this is coming out? Is this coming?
Yeah. It'll be out before you know it. It's this year. And if you're heading out to PAX East this year, we're going to be showing the game. So that's in just a couple of weeks. So I think our booth is 761 at PAX. So if you're in the Boston area, please come by, check out the game. It's there to be played.
Now, there's we got to play 2 levels today. Are there a ballpark number of maps that are going to come with the game itself?
More than 20.
More than 20? Wow.
Than 20. Yeah, and each level is different. Each one of the levels, and as you're progressing through the game, you're always rewarded a new trap or spell. So you can imagine you start stacking these things up, and it's an important part of the game to have a lot of different levels, because the levels play such an important role to how the traps interact with the world, how you interact with the level, and how the enemies interact with it. So it's good to have variety there.
With the maps being set, and the fact that you can set your traps, which is such a great component of the game, has there been thought of maybe including player-created levels for the PC players?
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. I think one of the cool things that we have going with this game, kind of being a smallish game that we can get out quickly, is we can react to what our fans are saying, and that's kind of a trend growing in the industry, but it's something that we've actually had back from our other games in the past, where we interact with the fans. What are they interested in? How do we tailor our game to that? And that's an approach we'll take for this for sure. I would love it once people start playing the game to say, man, if you had a trap that, I don't know, killed an orc in a really cool way, I'd to put that in the game.
A lot of our audience are couples who game together, couples who And in that line, there may be typically one player that loves to play competitively, one player who just wants to fuck around.
Right.
Will there be an ability to please both of those players, and maybe like nothing counts for leaderboards and all that, but you can just go wild with traps and spells and stuff.
In a way you can. I mean, one of the features that we didn't talk about or show today was kind of an upgrade path and a kind of a customization upgrade path for the player. So for example, if you're the type of player who wants to concentrate solely on traps, and you like seeing the big mouse trap go into action, you like watching the orcs die that way, you want to stand back and just kind of enjoy it, that's a way that you can customize the gameplay. If you're a player who wants to get in there with a sword, mix it up hand to hand, and see all the grossness up close, we provide an upgrade path for that as well. So it's a really cool way of branching the game out to different play styles.
Now, obviously, there's such a huge competitive component to that, with the leaderboards and whatnot. Will there be any social media interactions in which people can then have something automatically sent to Facebook on how many orcs they killed on a map or anything like that?
I don't know at this point. Probably one of the things that I see happening, or that I would like to see happen more in this type of game, is people posting the interesting ways that they've solved a level or if they've killed some orcs. I don't know if you noticed, we have a couple of people here playing the game today, but everybody's telling a different story on how they beat a level. Some people did it with a flip trap. Some people did it by putting tar down and the arrows were coming at them. Some people did it with the archers, and that's really, really cool. And with a physics component of it, I think you're going to see some stuff on YouTube and some videos posted around of just some crazy things happening that we had no plans for, but are happy to see.
It reminded me almost like a sim for destruction.
Right.
Now, you talked about the maps that are coming. Obviously, there's going to be, or you mentioned earlier that there was going to be a DLC of some type. Would those include not only just maps, but additional traps, weapons, or anything else?
Yeah, we're talking about all that stuff. So we don't have set plans that we're talking about just yet. But I mean, you can look at the game and you can see really obvious spots for expanding the game.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you very much.